Happy with how it came out. So the touchpad, you're looking at a 9.7-inch display. It's a gorgeous display on it.
So it's a what display?
9.7-inch display.
What's the
pixel? 1024 by 768.
So the same size as an iPad. Is it a little lighter, 1.5 pounds?
It's about 1.5 pounds. Yeah. So it's we're going through. So the 1024 768 to give you the dimensions. The processor underneath it is a dual CPU Snapdragon processor from Qualcomm. Both CPUs run at 1.2 gigahertz. So
what's the battery life we're getting then?
We're actually looking at. We're actually really happy with it. We're looking at a full day, but we'll announce the exact specs as we get closer to launch.
Is it that thick because there's something holding it on?
Yes, there's glare from the lights, so I've got these little bumpers there to make it so you guys can take pictures of it. Otherwise, we were getting some odd glares on it last night. So these actually I think came off some furniture, but
that's fine. Just wanted to make sure it wasn't that thick.
No, it's not. It's actually floating. It's light.
So this is like the existing WebOS, but
yeah. So what we did with WebOS, there's a couple key things we focused on. I mean, one of them that we're really happy with TouchPad because the browser's still, I mean, it's core to WebOS. So we actually have gone through and with the chips we have in it, use graphic acceleration. So the browser actually has graphic acceleration built into it to make it much faster. It'll render the pages as you're going through it. So we're very pleased with the performance. We've also hooked it in. This version is 802.11 BGNN. So you have high-speed Wi-Fi, and then we'll go to 3G and 4G variants as well. So from an over-the-air performance, we're getting great connectivity to it. From a storage capacity, we actually have a gigahertz RAM on it, and we will have a 16 and a 32 gigabyte capabilities for storage.
1 gigabyte of RAM?
One gigabyte of RAM.
And then it'll come in 16 and 32 gigabyte for user storage.
Is it a WebKit browser?
Yes, it's a WebKit browser. Same one. Actually, it's the same, based off the same one we have in all the other WebOS devices.
How come you are relatively conservative on storage space? Because I know from the iPad that 16 gigabytes is nothing on this kind of device, especially with
a lot of what we're focused on, and really where we see from a memory point of view, is we have a lot. And as I walk through the demo more, most of the data we're looking at, it's a web-connected device. We're pulling things from Facebook. The main data is on Facebook. I pull it down if I need it. I get rid of it out of my cache if I don't. So a lot of it is pulling it out of the web and storing it on the web. So it's much more about
media consumption.
Is there an SD card slot or anything like that?
There's not an SD card slot on it.
Okay.
And it's just front-facing camera?
Yeah, it has a front-facing camera. It's a 1.3 megapixel.
So any USB slots or anything, or none?
You have a micro USB in the bottom.
Okay.
And you also have, again, it's as inductive on it, so it runs off the touchstone.
Is it micro USB for charging, or also
you can do charge, or you can do data access.
Data.
Yeah, it loads up like a flash drive. So you just plug it in. You don't need any software. It loads up into either on a Mac or a PC.
So can you show us the kind of stacking? Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So this is one of the things we did. This is the card view, and this is actually great on the larger format screen. You can use it on any of the WebOS devices, but it allows you to go through. You can change the order of anything you want. You can move things around. Really allowing you to change your workspace, put things where you want them.
Would you more slowly go to an app and then show me how you get back to this card view?
Oh, so if I just tap into an app, and I just hit the center button. There's actually a physical button.
A physical button. I got it.
So that's the same as what you have on the bottom of the phone.
Yeah, it's the same thing as same thing at the bottom of the phone.
Only it's over on the side.
So going through it, I mean, some of the things we had. So we've got. In the browser, match you up. One of the areas we had, so we've got the great browser. We also had something for notifications. And on WebOS, it's got the best notifications out there. So they don't jump up in front of you, they don't block you, they just show you on the bottom what it is. We looked at when we actually did TouchPad and said, hey, we got a lot more space here. So we have something called stacked notifications now. And you can see I've got SMS, I've got Google, and I've got Exchange coming in, and it's showing the most recent message on here. If I want to go through and start triaging, I can just start flipping through my messages. It's changing. I'm just discarding each of the messages that I looked at. I don't need this. It's not as important.
And that's SMS and email. And
SMS and email, and the SMS is coming through your phone to the device. Mm-hmm. So I can answer the SMS directly from the touchpad. It will go back to the phone and go out to the web. So really making it so I don't have to pick up my phone to answer my SMS or even answer a voice call. I can do it directly from the device.
This has to be a pre-phone or a via.
Yeah, it's done through Bluetooth. It's done through Bluetooth. So we've been working on.
But it has to be with pre. It wouldn't work.
We've been designing it for working with our messaging app. So as long as you use the same standard that we're using, it will be available. But I don't have the information of whether we've tested it with other devices.
Okay.
But really, again, with the notifications, if I tap on it, and I'll just jump over to Google, it allows me to get into the Mail app. And you can see from what we've done in existing WebOS smartphones, really we've changed the format of it. So you've got 3 different panes. This allows you to see all of the view of the accounts you have and their subfolders. It allows you to see all of your messages, so you can scroll through the box, or you can scroll through the email. But email is sort of a personal thing. Everybody does different things in it, so we wanted to make it configurable. So I can tap on here, minimize it so I just see the email list, my message. I can tap and see just the message on here if I'm going through it. I can bring it back if I want to go through, and really taking these panels, allowing me to move around for how I want to see it.
When you're paired with a phone, is the data put forth, is it encrypted, is it not encrypted?
So it's really for Exchange, we're actually going through we have AES 256 encryption over the air for the Exchange.
But between the phone and...
So the way the data works going through the phone connection is set that it authorizes it based on the pair of your profiles.
Right.
So you're connected, and it's really SMS is all that's going through it over a standard Bluetooth protocol. So we use the same security Bluetooth does.
Okay, so you're not actually getting your mail through the phone.
Yeah, you're just getting your SMS. The mail's coming directly from the web.
Okay.
So it's a standalone product. It doesn't need the phone to get to it.
It's using the active sync.
Yeah, it's using the active sync conduit, which is 256 AES.
So the tablet is always cell phone enabled because I can make phone calls and get SMSs?
If you have a cell phone.
So I hook near field communications.
We actually use Bluetooth it's Bluetooth we're using for the connectivity for SMS and voice. And we use Touchstone for transferring data like web pages.
Can I get a demo? How does Touchstone...
Actually, I can't do it right now. Okay. I actually gave away my MP3, so it'll be back in a minute.
I got it. Can you show us how you can fling stuff away? Is that the same as on the phone as well?
Yeah, same as on the phone. So all you're doing is you're going through it is you just flip up things off the screen.
Yeah.
So whatever you have, and even if you're in the middle of a stack, you can throw it out of the stack.
Oh, okay.
You just have to, wherever you want to grab it.
And the magazines look very impressive in the photo and videos as well.
Yeah, so I mean, photos this is the next thing. We've done something called Synergy for something we started. We did calendar, email, contacts, and really with TouchPad we're doing photos. And what Synergy is, basically it takes all your data from various sources, and this goes back to your question on the amount of memory on the device. What you're seeing here is the ones with the square on here are items that are on my TouchPad, or on my TouchPad. The items down here are things that are on my Facebook, and I'm actually pulling the images down from Facebook, which is a really compelling thing. So I can go in and I'll just jump into Spain.
So it's cloud-based as well as
so we're just pulling it down out of the air. So anything that you put up on your Facebook, we can actually pull down. The same thing if you're going through it, I can go through and add comments on it, so I can actually use Facebook comments directly. And the interesting one on it, and this is a lot of it because we're HP, we can print to any of the web-enabled or network-enabled printers we've had come out in the last 2 years, or last 5 years. So we're looking at tens of millions. And really the goal of it, all you do, you just tap on the photo, you tap that you want to print, select the printer, which I have underneath me, it keeps hitting me with this tray.
So this only works with, you said tens of millions, so it's not just HP printers.
Yeah, so we've shipped tens of millions in the last 5 years.
It's just HP printers?
We've designed it, again, we've designed this for HP, where it's a standard, so we're expecting more people to take it up if they'd like to.
What standard is it that you're using?
It's our standard print. It's a standard print technology. So it's all this is doing is using our HP print drivers and going out to the network printer and printing it. Okay. We actually do all the rendering on the device, which allows us to do things. It's difficult for most devices that want the printer to render it, which you do with a lot of ePrint solutions. Right. We actually do on-device rendering, so all we're doing is sending the print
is not
style.
the print stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So again, you go through, you could add the comments, you could do the email or print directly off it. There's like one behind, so I was doing a peacock before. We'll see if it prints out this time. But it allows us to go through and just print on it.
Could I integrate any other cloud service, say SmartMark or Flickr?
No, I mean that's the great thing about WebOS.
I mean, if you're on your mail, on your photo app there, and if I want to add Flickr, how do we?
Yeah, so what we did with WebOS, so we have we have a couple of varieties. We have an SDK and we have a PDK. And the difference, they're both developer kits. One of them is HTML, cascading style sheets, JavaScript. Very, very simple. Not simple. It's using great things in it, but it's most millions of web developers build with them. We also have a PDK, which allows you to do C++ and do much more integrated in the Linux layer. Okay. And all of the APIs are open for all of the applications. So all I would have to do for this is just plug in the API. I would get a new button, in this case, underneath Snapfish Photo, wherever it's going to be on here, you'd have a new button. I can bring that service into it. Same thing we do with Just Type. So if you want to add services to Just Type or add to our email, all of that's open as part